Hari Om. Let us continue our study. We looked at two objects toward which we express our love. One is love for the ends, which is the first aspect. The second aspect is love for the means. The third object of love is the love of oneself. Love of oneself. Everyone loves himself or herself, isn't it? We all love ourselves, for sure. Swamiji calls this love self love. Self love. Therefore, all forms of love are only are confined to any one of these three categories. There cannot be a fourth. Category 1 is means love. Category 2 is ends love. And category 3 is self love. This is love in general. We will leave out God for the moment, for now. We'll come back to God. Very interesting subject. We will discuss love in general first. Our scriptures point out that there is a gradation in the intensity of love in the three forms of love that we looked at above. And what is this gradation? Love of the means is the least in its intensity, or manda. Manda means least of least intensity. Love of the end or ends is mediocre, or the next level of intensity called madhyama. Madhyama. And then love of oneself is the highest form of love, wherein the love has the highest intensity. Uttama or Tivra. Tivra. Uttama or Tivra. So, love based on its intensity, the intensity expressed or intensity that it evokes in us, is Manda, Madhyama, and Uttama or Tivra. What could be the reason for this? The reason is simple. The love, or we love the means, not for the means itself. We need to think a little over here. We need to really think. This happens day in and day out in every situation that we go through. But we must apply these principles. It becomes very interesting to observe all this. The love of the means is not for the sake of the means itself, isn't it? Nobody loves the means for the sake of the means. Everyone loves the means only for the sake of the ends. Once the end is accomplished, the attitude towards the means is completely different. Swamiji often gives the example of a disposable coffee cup. So, the coffee cup, the disposable, serves as a container for the coffee, the degree coffee, the the very lovingly percolated degree coffee, Kumbakonam degree coffee. So, when coffee is poured into that disposable, yes, we do value the disposable, but we value the disposable only until the last drop of that Kumbakonam degree coffee has been consumed by us. Then we don't we very casually dispose it off because it is called disposable. It's not to be, held very close to our chest and say, oh dear disposable cup, it is only through you that I had my the tasty Kumbakonam degree coffee. No, nothing of that sort. Very casually crush it. It's to be crushed and thrown away, disposed of. So once, in fact, after achieving the end, the means are often not loved, like in the case of the disposable cup. We should not be washing the disposable cup and carrying it along with us. No, completely defeats the very purpose of the word disposable. So, in fact, after accomplishing the end, the means are often not loved. We often observe that the rich are loved more than the poor. Why is it so? Why are the rich loved more? It is because they are the means to the end called wealth or money. As long as the end called wealth can be accomplished through rich people, they are loved, they are respected, they are revered, they are honored, etc. They are given red carpet welcomes. The moment the rich lose their riches, they are no longer loved. This is seen, experienced by every one of us in and through our vyavahara, through our transactions. We must be alert. The reason why Swamiji is saying all this is it must open our eyes to the facts of life, the truths of life. There's nothing wrong about it. This is how everything works. This is the mechanism. The moment the rich lose their riches, they are no longer loved. We often hear that family members very sincerely serve the elderly rich people. What is their sincerity due to? Often, sincerity is expressed generally, not 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 by everyone. Generally, often sincerity is expressed to inherit or acquire the elders' wealth. See, these these statements may seem jarring, but this is the bitter truth. That is why it often helps to study the teachings of the Bhajagovindam, which we did prior to this session, this series of Introduction to Vedanta. Shankaracharya hammers these truths into the spiritual aspirant's mind. He wants to remove the sense of delusion in our minds. That's why Bhajagovindam is called by another name, Moha Mudgaraha, the hammer that pounds out delusion in our intellects. So we saw often sincerity is expressed to inherit or acquire the elder's wealth. Many times, once the elder gives away his or her wealth before death, another sorry state of affairs. The tragedy is the old person is deserted or left high and dry. Poor thing. That is why, after going through such experiences, this pathetic person advises other friends, his contemporaries, never ever to part with their wealth to the next generation until death. In the Bhajagovindam, Sri Adi Shankaracharya lays it out very clearly. He says, Yavadvittoparjanasaktaha तावन्निज परिवारो रक्तः पश्चाज्जीवति जर्जर देहे वार्तांकोऽपि न पृच्छति गेहे यावद्वित्तोपार्जनसक्तः तावन्निजपरिवारो रक्तः पश्चाज्जीवति जर्जरदेहे वार्तांकोऽपि न पृच्छति गेहे. Therefore, O Brahmana, on the banks of the river Ganga, Stop your dukran karne and say, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukran Karane, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. Govindam bhaja mudhamate. Shankara says, your relatives and friends surround you as long as you can earn and support the family and possess adequate wealth. When the body becomes infirm, no one, no one without exception will inquire about your welfare even in your own home. The bitter truth that is expressed in Bhaja Govindam, we will pick up the thread in the upcoming capsules. Hari Om. Om Durjana Sajjano Bhuyad Sajjana Shantimapnuyad Shanto Muccheta Bandhebhyah Muktaschanyan Vimochayet Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om